There's more to Bill than meets the eye. Ozzie actually knows who did it if he ain't do it himself, but they are perfectly fine with letting him go down for it. And Jax, it's probably about time you get out of this law firm. What's good, y'all? Sugar Sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Reasonable Doubt video. And in this one, I'm breaking down season 3, episode number 3. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss out the moment that I post a new Reasonable Doubt video. I'm sorry that this one is late, y'all. I am sorry it is late. I am literally going to be recording this one back to back with episode 4, but I told myself I cannot watch episode 4 until I record this because I'm so behind. And y'all, I'm behind to give you an excuse, because it is an excuse, because this episode was a lot. There's so many things at play here, and I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I didn't even know where to begin. I watched the episode and I kind of like sat for 20 minutes after, like, this is bad. This is very bad. I am not fully convinced that Ozzie did not do it, even though there is, plausible. There's a shred of doubt that is introduced at the very end when he gives a call to this person who is seemingly, in my opinion, maybe a former co-star on his show, that is perfectly fine with him going down for this murder. So Ozzie, you ain't do it, but you know who did, or maybe y'all actually did it together and you wanted to trust this person and then they went ghost on you and now you're left holding the bag. Child. But of course, you're not going to make good decisions. You're not going to be able to move with any level of discernment when we start to find out in this episode all of what he has been subjected to with the peeling back of the layers of what his backstory is. He has a history of sexual abuse. We are watching his handlers, i.e. his family, manage him in reference to not restricting him from using drugs. He overdoses in this episode, but trying to manage it. After the overdose, we are seeing a family doctor come in, and then it's a back and forth with Jax around them having done this and being very not new to what actually went down. And it's just like, there's so many layers. So y'all, long story short, I really struggle with being able to unpack it. So even now, I feel like I'm gonna be a little bit all over the place. So y'all bear with me. Hopefully you still enjoy this video. Let me know what you thought, what you're feeling, if anything came up for you. One of the things that came up almost immediately into the episode is that they are kind of like touching upon some very topical, hot topic things that we've seen over the course of the last 2 to 3 years. Specifically for me, the Jonathan Majors of it all is like kind of infused in this, but they, I think, are mixing that particular headline and all that went down tied to that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Jonathan Majors did exactly what Ozzie is being accused of, but I'm seeing a semblance there, right? And I haven't spoken publicly about how I feel about that whole thing, so please don't make no assumptions on my behalf, but that is what came up for me. And then the big bombshell that has been the exposing of like how child stars were treated with the docu-series that came out either last year or a year and a half ago, and it was exposing all of the people involved in the exploitation of all these child stars as they were navigating I think it was the Nickelodeon system, right? Those two things feel like they are smashed together, and they are really, I think they're going to go deep and explore that with the Ozzie character, and it makes me uncomfortable. And I don't know why it makes me uncomfortable. Well, actually, I do know why it makes me uncomfortable, because I feel for these people. And that's what puts me in a tricky position, because I took the stance initially of like, Ozzie did this, I don't trust it, he has anger issues, this, that, and the third, and now we're starting to peel back the layers of why that could be the case. And it doesn't excuse him from doing the crime if he's actually the perpetrator of the crime. But then when I start to get the layers of like how this actually happened and things start to click and make sense, it's like, oh, this was kind of always going to happen. You are, of course, you're emotionally dysregulated. You were sexually abused as a child. You have consistently been manipulated and managed and handled versus actually being loved your entire life. You are the breadwinner for your family and the pressure that comes with that. Ozzie's existence, which I think that they do a beautiful job of in this episode, is in a state of arrested development of a man, a little boy in a man's body, while also carrying all the pressures that still would come with being a black man of today. And it breaks my heart and watching him, because he has not been shepherded properly through his young adulthood, through his childhood into his young adulthood, in a way that is healthy for one, but in a way that could be mentally conducive of him actually having a full life. You can see at various moments, like when he is turning on the charm and the charisma, when he's in the therapy session with Dr. Owens, or when he's having the thong song dance party, spazzing out. Letting that inner child kind of go, and then a little bit in between, because that winds up turning into him ODing. And I'm like, there's so much happening with the Ozzie character in this episode. Again, it's a lot to unpack, but let's start at the beginning. Or actually, I want to start with Jax, and then I'll piece it in, because I wrote in my notes a triangle like this. I wrote my notes a triangle, y'all, in reference to where Jax is in this episode, and specifically in handling this case. And she's like fighting 3 fights, and it's somebody on all sides. So on this side is Ozzie. On this side is his partners, or her partners at the law firm, and colleagues who are questioning her. She got to keep checking in with. And down here is the damn judge, because we're back and forth, and they do a great job of like catching us up really quickly with the montages going in and out of being called in by the judge, and it's progressively getting worse. At the top of the episode, we are getting a bunch of intercuts between Jax in the courtroom, Jax in the conference room, and Jax at Ozzie's house, and that is the perfect. It's a way to quickly catch us up in reference to what's going on, and we're slowly but surely, incrementally watching more and more of Ozzie's freedom being taken away as a direct result of how he's navigating being out on bail and being the number one suspect within this case. So it starts out of like, okay, you are supposed to be on house arrest, but your ass is running around to the store. Paparazzi then peeped you out, and y'all. The flashbacks to the headlines for this one, I was like, wow. Then he leaves his house to go to the community center to work out, and he's like, listen, y'all said I couldn't leave home. This is actually my home. This community is my home. It's a gated community. I'm not out in the public. So then she gets called back to court again, and they have to stipulate again, and she's trying her best to keep his ass out of jail, because he could wind up going back to jail, and he's not actually getting it, I guess, until the end. That's also when she puts Daniel on as his babysitter, because the next stop after him not respecting the fact that he is on house arrest and he cannot actually leave his home domicile is that his ass is going to be waiting for the trial in jail. So then he finally gets it, and it's so interesting because we're watching Jax masterfully handle that. Bill drops the ball a little bit because it goes from like $2 million to like it's a $5 million bond or whatever, and she has to like explain. So in the intercuts that we're watching between her in the courtroom, the conference room, and then back at Ozzie's, when she's in the conference room, she's explaining to the partners. And the first thing I thought before she even said it, the first thing I thought was like, we never seen her actually have to do this. When we see her in the thick of like interacting with the judge, when they go to like jury selection, and when things start to get going after they sign the client, she doesn't actually have to report back to the partners. This is not a thing. So why is this a thing now? And then I think it was the second go round when she's like, I never have to report to y'all. Y'all talking about keep me abreast. I'm like, okay, something is going on here. And baby, once we get to like later on in the episode, when that starts to unfold, I'm like, wow. And after watching the entire episode and thinking about it, I'm like, yo, how exasperating, how exhausting, how ridiculous does it feel to be fighting a fight on like 3 different sides, and you're literally fighting everybody who's actually involved. She's fighting Ozzie to do right by his damn self and set her up for the best possible option to be able to defend him and maintain his innocence and make sure that he doesn't go away for this. She's fighting her damn partners and spending time, energy, and effort to explain to them things that they don't actually need to know, because they're not assisting her with this damn case, not one bit. They're just putting up additional questions and creating additional tension unnecessarily. And then of course the judge, who is trying to maintain propriety for both parties and is not picking a side regardless, just doing his thing, and he's an obstacle built into this whole process. I'm like, bruh. And then on top of that, her goddamn daddy shows up. Her daddy that she ain't seen in 8 damn years pops up at the very top of the episode, because we're picking up where we left off in the last episode. I don't know how Jax is doing it. I really quite literally don't know how she's doing it. I guess that's why she gets paid the big bucks. I guess that's also why her damn name is on the side of this building, because the amount of battles that she is fighting, and it's I get so nervous with saying certain things now because I was so adamantly against Lewis last season. And I'm not saying that I'm not against him this season, but I'm trying to come in less hot until he gives me a reason to go to the places that I was at last season. And he has yet to do that yet. But also, y'all, something in my spirit, something in my soul is still telling me that I don't want Jax with Lewis and he ain't it. So while he does provide a little bit of respite for her, he is the one rubbing her feet. He's the one rubbing her shoulders and like not a point of contention for the most part anymore. Now that the whole Tony thing is settled. So that he is not another battle that she has to fight. Something about it is just not sitting well in my spirit. So even watching the episode and like seeing him show up, seeing them be able to like debrief with one another at the end of the night on these very, very tough days, I still don't buy it. And I'm just like, Erica, you really probably just hate this man because he's not technically doing anything wrong. But what came up for me in watching her navigate her relationship with her dad and him hopping up is like, I think her dad is the reason why Lewis is still here. And I also don't want to negate that she loves Lewis because I know that she does love Lewis, but part of me feels like, and the more that we get to know about the dad and their history and his abandonment of her and how she has internalized that and has been processing that, the more I think we're going to get a good understanding of why she has accepted so much from Lewis thus far. And I know people are like, well, she was touching on this and she was doing that. One of the things that will never not stick out for me when it comes to the Lewis and Jax relationship is in season 2, getting a flashback to him not being able to take criticism from her that he asked for, him communicating, whether indirectly in your opinion, but I felt like it was directly, feelings of resentment and jealousy of Jax within her career and her ambition. And then his overall tone from the very beginning of the series of like wanting to clip her wings to a certain extent and wanting her to like dial it back a bit. That to me still reverberates, even if it's a little bit quieter now that we're in season 3. And that to me is a direct line to a father that abandoned you, a father that never really established what it means to be loved by a man, what it means to have expectations of your love within like the opposite sex or from a man. And I'm looking at him like, damn, this is your damn fault. And yes, Lewis, I'm glad that you got heat and smoke and you ain't letting this man walk in because you know that he elicits certain feelings for your wife by his presence. But Lewis, I also need you to take the other step because you also in therapy, right? Y'all been in couples therapy, right? And I need you to be able to have a little bit of self-awareness and see where your existence and the decisions that you make in your existence within this marriage exasperate some of the triggers that man has put in her damn life. Maybe then, I can't even say that. I'm about to say maybe then I'll be on your side because I probably will never be on Lewis's side. But that's all that came up for me with them and their whole relationship. I don't trust it. But I'm trying to be fair, but I still don't trust it, and I don't trust Lewis's ass. Don't trust the damn daddy. I don't like the mama. Have not liked the mama for a very long time, and by golly, Miss Molly, this episode didn't help because you are trying to force Jax to have a dinner and have a conversation with a man that she already said that she don't want to actually engage in, and because you are now over it, because your goofy ass boyfriend left you and moved away, which I thought he died, y'all. So I gotta go back and rewatch the episode because the whole thing behind, I was just like, that was a mess in and of itself that you ain't believe your damn daughter with. I was already on your ass and done with you then. But now that you're perfectly fine with him now, and now that you want to make it okay, even though you were also advocating for Jax to avoid her goofy ass daddy when you was paying his ass dust, but you lonely, you bitter, you don't have no damn body, so you gonna bring the damn daddy crackhead from back in the day back because you don't have nothing else better to do, and you gonna shove him in Jax's face. I am over the mama. Lewis and the mama, for me, we are probably gonna be beefing forever. And then she literally has a conversation of like, as if Jax owes any of them, any of her attention, any of her, like, ma'am, I can't. The mama triggers me. The mama triggers me bad, y'all. But I'm going to go ahead and move on. Let's go back to Ozzie. So in addition to Ozzie not being able to wrangle himself in, if he can't run around and go to the store and be spotted out by paparazzi and now he has to respect his damn house arrest, he wants to post thirst traps and this, that, and the third on social media, as Jax says, tainting the potential jury pool. The way that these damn major criminal defense clients love to make Jax's life in case as hard as possible. I don't understand it. We'll never understand it. If you ever get me up on something and I get Jax, I'm going to do whatever the hell you tell me to do, ma'am. But no. And in addition to you making her case hard, you're in the damn house overdosing. And the sister is the one who got you the drugs because you going to get them anyway. Okay, so like, I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be fair. Because I do respect that his sister is caught between a rock and a hard place. Not wanting to support her brother's toxic habits, right? But then also wanting to manage it because you can't stop them. It's almost like the parents who let the kids drink in the house and that they are providing alcohol, because if you do it here, I can make sure that you're okay. You're not drinking and driving. You ain't allowing yourself to be, you're not putting yourself in a position to be date raped or roofied or any of those types of things because you're doing it at home. And yet and still, there's a cause and effect to underage drinking anyway, right? So like, I totally fully see that. And then also there's the element of the family financially dependent upon Ozzie, or the sister financially dependent upon the parents, and the parents financially dependent upon Ozzie, which makes it all on Ozzie's shoulders. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I can do it. But it also takes a certain amount of strength and bravery to walk away, which is what I would hope that the sister would do, because I could not be ready. I could not be ready with the Narcan, just knowing that my brother's going to OD, or it could happen because he's going to do this and this, especially once we find out that he had been clean for 2 years up until this point. What the hell did y'all think was going to happen when he literally gets put up as a suspect in a murder trial for the woman that he quote unquote loved and was ready to push all y'all asses out the damn door for? We don't have a ton that we learn in this episode other than Daniel was falling in love with the sister, and the sister probably likes him, and the sister's caught between a rock and a hard place. The parents are already raggedy. We find out the most in the therapy session with Dr. Owens and Ozzie, and he goes through various stages, I would say. That's the best way I can kind of articulate it. And like, he starts off trying to charm her and low-key kind of seduce her because he's used to doing that. He's used to being manipulative because that's a defense mechanism for him. And then he starts to open up and be honest, and she reveals to him, like, what you're describing to me sounds like sexual assault, because whether you can consent or not, you were still underage, which introduces a different power dynamic. And I'm like, absolutely. And I think that's the one way that men are socialized out of understanding and seeing the trauma that they receive at a young age if they are exposed to sexual trauma in that regard, because the idea of consent is preached to them, and then the manliness of it all in reference to them being the ones to do the penetrating creates this faux sense of like, oh no, I wasn't the victim here, I actually did this thing. And it's like, no, you actually were. It just took a little bit more mental mind games for you to believe that this was your idea. I love the fact that Jax brought in Dr. Owens, and she had to do something, because the parents are not going to make this case easy either with the secrets that they're hiding. Nobody wants to ever come forward when Jax asks, can you just please tell me what the hell is going on? You don't got to tell me if you did it, don't tell me that part, but tell me what the hell you're going on so I can try to make these pieces make a certain amount of sense so that I can build this case. The mama goes back and forth with Jax when Jax tries to get Ozzie seen and treated for the overdose that happens, and they want to handle it the way that they have known how, which is basically patch his ass up, give him some fluids, he gonna be all right, let him sleep it off. And then Jax brings in Dr. Owens as an additional element that I don't think has been brought in before, and now we are starting to get the unearthing of what happened in his background. So now this case is also getting a little bit more complicated, because Jax morally is not just building a case to help defend him and exonerate him from the charges being waged to him in the judicial system, but now she feels like a part of this is also unearthing whatever might have been going on for him in his past that's informing his decisions moving forward, which is why she brought in Dr. Owens. And it's starting to position itself, or feel like Jax is being put in a position where, in addition to having to fight for Ozzie in the courtroom, she's going to have to fight for Ozzie on a personal level against his family, who are enabling his toxic behavior in order to keep this money train going, and even against his idea of like what his career should be, because that is also putting itself in direct conflict of him actually being a healthy and healed person. Y'all, again, I feel like this episode just has so much going on, and this is why I was so reluctant to do this video, because I feel like I was going to turn this camera on and just start spouting all this psycho mumbo jumbo that people would be like, Erica, please. But I'm committed to giving y'all that. So this is all of what like came up and what I was thinking about what's going on in this episode. It's a lot, but it's so good. It's so well written. The layers that are there for the various characters, and specifically just looking at Ozzie and Jax, right? There's so much happening at various levels of their lives, within their personality, within their mental state, and how the world is impacting that. To me, is just so damn intriguing. They really did a great job of constructing our protagonist and our potential criminal in this season. But going to the periphery characters, let's talk about Mr. Bill. Because not only do Mr. Bill have a black ass wife, but he has an estranged black ass wife who wants nothing to do with him, that he has to basically stalk and run up on in the middle of the damn night. And she's still like, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't know what that invoice was that he was holding when he was first watching her, when we first are introduced to this concept of him being estranged. But we, of course, are going to learn more about him as the season goes on. But I thought that was even such additional nuance to add to this sub character in this episode, which I thought was really great. In this episode, the partners go a little bit further in clarifying what they're expecting of Bill as he's been, partnered with Jax, right? They want him to snitch on Jax because they feel like Jax is not being as forthcoming as she should be. And it's not clear to me in this episode which position that he is going to take, even though now, by the end of the episode, Jax gives him all of the leverage, all of the information for him to actually make a decision. So by next episode, we're going to know where he actually falls. If he decides to go run and tell that Ozzie overdosed and what Jax confidentially shared with him that she feels like the partners don't need to know, then we're going to know where he stands. But right now, it's not really clear. I did like that they were able to come to a certain level of like understanding, and she brought him in a little bit more, even though I don't fully trust him. But the only way that you can get trust is if you give it and the person is able to honor it. So that's where we are in reference to that. Going back to the partners and specifically the colleagues, the way that this white woman upset all of my spirit and soul in this episode, but she felt empowered to talk to Jax in the way that she did for some reason. And I'm looking at you white men on her damn right. Y'all are conspiring against Jax, or having conversations against Jax for whatever reason, I don't know, because the black woman is also billing the most billable hours, bringing in the most revenue, carrying y'all damn law firm on her back so that y'all can all sit pretty and make healthy paychecks and drive around in y'all Bentleys, Porsches, and whatever the hell. And now you want to also come and have smoke for her ass, even though she has always shown and proved above and beyond. And you let little Miss Colleen, whatever the hell her name is, talk big cash as if her name is on the building and it ain't. As if she's clocking the same amount of billable hours and she not. Hell, she not even clocking a quarter according to Jax. But she can come and spout big cash shit to Jax about how she has to reveal what's going on and she has to talk about her strategy for her case. She don't have to tell y'all a goddamn thing because y'all are not actually on the case with her. She can maintain a certain level of confidentiality within her and her client so that she can do her damn job, and what gives her the win factor that she actually has. The gall that this young lady had and coming at Jackson the way that she did, I was so proud that she bucked back in the moment and she didn't just smile and eat it as we are normalized to do or socialized to do. We're just supposed to take the disrespect. We're just supposed to take the dismissal. We're just supposed to take the degradation and smile on our face and turn our cheek for them to slap the other one. No, absolutely not. And Jax got her ass together and walked her ass out that conference room as she should and said, and if you got any other questions, look at the goddamn name on the side of the building, ho. That shit answer every last question that you got. I got things to do. Love it for her. But even in that, y'all, you can't even have a moment to like celebrate. Yes, Jax, she advocated for herself. She spoke up. She pushed back. Cool. And yes, little Miss White Girl was sent to HR. She gonna get a slap on the wrist, whatever. We can't even celebrate that because the emotional toll that it takes for you to advocate for yourself in circumstances like that, it still takes away from you. So yes, it's a win of like, you didn't just let the shit slide and you let them know that it wasn't cool, but then emotionally, mentally, it's still a toll that you gotta eat. And I hate that for us. Like, I hate it so bad. But this is why Reasonable Doubt, I feel like, is such a really phenomenal show, because they have imbued the story with so much authenticity, specifically for the position of a well-to-do black woman, educated, beautiful, bomb-ass black woman who's complicated on her own right and a commanding force. Like, they don't shy away from showing what it all looks like. And this feels real. Like, even her struggling to navigate the prying eyes that are her partners and colleagues who are questioning it and having her look over her shoulders, this, that, and the third, that is very real to the experience of well-to-do, intelligent, beautiful black women who are in those spaces, because it's seldom that we have people who are advocating for us off of our merit, who are seeing us fully and how we go above and beyond to create the space that we're in and enhance the space that we're in, and truly give us credit. Because more often than not, we are saddled with colleagues and in her case partners who take offense to her success, who take offense to all the merit that she garners, takes offense to how big her personality is, how confident her whole aura is. And it's like, that is for you, your therapist, and Jesus to work on. Why are y'all bringing it to my door? I don't understand. But that's also why I can't really do circumstances like this, because, child. And even amongst her, or with her pushing back and advocating for herself, she still did it professionally. She still did it in a way that didn't have her pulling herself outside of her character in a way that she didn't want to be perceived. Because she could have took it further, okay? She definitely could have took it further. Which, this is the whole thing that elicits, I think, them going to go talk to BEL behind that. I'm not looking forward to seeing this play out, this continue to play out at the law firm, but I know it's real. It's a part of her story, so it is what it is. I think that this is going to be the thing, though, that helps to start pushing Jax out of the law firm, and I hope that she's able to leave on her own accord with her head held high, because this isn't a safe space for her, not only as a black woman, but specifically just for her career if she seeks additional career advancement. Now, last but certainly not least... Which actually I could kind of make this damn Lewis's fault. So yes, I forgot in a second, but now in talking about it, Naima gets her ass arrested, or not arrested, held, because they find out that this is Jax's daughter, and of course Jax pulls some strings, gets her out. She's following behind two little random ass white girls who dares her to steal something, because of course they dared you to steal something, and of course you're not moving with any type of sense of understanding of who you are versus who they are. And girl, but she claims to Lewis that she's only hanging with these two little white girls because she had to stop hanging with Tony's daughter, because Tony's daughter is lying and saying that you impregnated her mama and they lost the baby. Well, Naima does not get off without a hitch, because you should have never stole that. Girl, don't listen to nobody daring your ass to steal nothing. But also, you thought you was going to keep this kid from her. And now look, you over there crying with the lady mama, but you go, and it has trickled right on down into your kids' lives. So now Lewis is tasked with not only telling Naima, but also Spenser when he comes back from art camp or wherever the hell he is. And it's just another thing for Jax to deal with. Child. Again, shout out to Jax Stewart. I know that she not the most perfect woman, but goddamn it, she's powerful. And if she ain't strong, I don't know what is, because the storms and all of the weapons that have been formed against her ass, she doing a great job holding her own. Y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comment section down below. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with, and I'll see you in the next one.